Hello, and welcome to another Steve review. Today I want to be taking a look of Suicide Squad. It's been consumed by the DC universe they've sort of set up but for themselves, which has probably already killed itself with Batman versus Superman, and which is a funeral of like wasted ideas just thrown on a pile and burnt away that we'll probably never get. Well, we probably will get them again, probably in 10 years when I try rebooting it again. But who is the Suicide Squad? We have Deadshot, who is taking up the very cool style, going blackface, played by Will Smith, and looking very shady. We also have Harley Quinzel, who is basically the craziest chick in the universe and just has this weird ability to just float around in space and just while fighting, and it looks very awesome. Just it's like she'll just it's more acrobatics, like she just runs around walls and just climbs over people. So it reminds me a lot of like when you have a spider and it's just climbing around on your finger. We also have Killer Croc, who has also always been one of my favourite Batman villains from the Arkham games, the animated series. Just how his presence is just so threatening and just scary, and I can't forget the classic line that he has in this film. Also, you have Captain Boomerang, that Australian alcoholic, played by Dry Courtney, a new Aussie actor who fails at his own accent in this film somehow. Don't ask me, just he fails at an Australian accent at certain points in this film. It's mind-boggling. Which leads me to El Delabro, I think he's Mexican. He's like this Mexican gang lord who has like these magical powers to burst fire out of his hands, or like his whole body will just explode in fire. And somehow he just becomes this massive demon character, which is completely awesome. Just really fun to watch. And the Human Torch, El Delabro, he basically, what I like about him is like, unfortunately, he is the most developed character out of the whole gang, like misfits you have here. You have probably behind him in like development is probably Deadshot, Nick Flag, and Harley. Yeah, Harley is definitely because the thing with Diablo, they set up his character, they set up his like probably his main conflict, and like the fact that he doesn't really want to use his powers, and then he set up his family, and then in the end you find out why they've like developed his character so highly, and that's really what I like about it. It's like you don't really, unfortunately, you don't get attached to the whole character, like the whole group as a like as a squad. You just get it as like just individuals, and you can tell they've just been like grouped together as like these bunch of just random people. Which probably leads us to the most lame character in this whole film, Slipknot. He's literally a DIY Spider-Man. I think they describe him as like a lasso guy. He's basically a cowboy on steroids. He has the ability to shoot grapple hooks out of his like arms, and as I said, it's basically a DIY Spider-Man. He at one point they try and like just copy like the main just what Spider-Man would do, just like him just swinging around on buildings, and then he's the lamest character when like he's the first to get killed. He's like, he was literally there for 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, he really didn't have anything to do with the plot, did he? It's like, I guess he did like do one thing, and it's like punch a guy in the face, and that's it. Got killed off that. So, goodbye, Slipknot, the guy who could just throw lassos everywhere. What a shame. You'll be missed by everyone, and your presence was very needed for this film. Not wasted at all. Yeah, of course we have Nick Flag, who is basically this like super leader. He is the army guy. He knows what he's doing. He is in charge. He's like the stereotypical colonel, but he has like a sort of more of a development throughout the film, and then he's more connected in the plot, which I like. He's not really a just one-sided character. He's not just this guy who just shouts a lot and just shouts orders. He has more of a personality, which I like. And even though his personality is just this bunch of cliches and like a bit of like a cliche colonel, a bit of like an army guy, just a soldier, and it's a bit boring, and it's a surprise why the approach they have to this film is just uh, just mismatch of everything. Just like they sort of try and develop his character, and they just like notice how boring his character is, and just move on, and that's it. So we join the Suicide Squad in the typical DC universe setup we've established. It's raining, of course. It rains 24/7 in the DC universe. It's dark. You can hardly see to the other side of the room. I'm surprised hardly any of these people just trip up how dark it is. And I know Deadshot has this sort of eye apparatus, but no one else does. So how come like they don't just trip downstairs? Just wonder why everyone can't see. That's probably how they keep escaping. Like that's how Joker escapes. He escapes Arkham because it's so dark and no one can actually see anything. So, which leads us to the biggest joke. Probably the film laid out on me. How they advertised the Joker. It's like, let's put so much hype into the Joker, and like they released all the pictures. They released so much, just so much detail for the Joker. And like I remember when they brought out the original black and white image of him like all tattooed last year, and then I didn't really believe they were just gonna go for that sort of tacky, sort of just tacky, like tattooed of like himself on his own body, but it sort of works. And I think the fact you can't see that many of the tattoos, it sort of works because again, Joker wouldn't really scar tattoos in himself to remind himself he's a Joker. It's not really that ironic. And I do love the costumes he has, all the jackets he wears. He wears this amazing purple jacket at one point. It's like this purple overcoat, sort of trench coat thing, and then I like the cream one he wears, like this double-breasted mafia styled coat. And I did love the part when he's like in the helicopter with the tuxedo on. And again, I'm just so annoyed how disappointing the Joker was. He's literally in this film for 20 minutes, and that's not even like one scene. That's just separate scenes, and it's probably just adds up to roughly 10 or 20 minutes, and it's mostly flashbacks, and mostly to develop Harley's character. And what they do with the Joker for half of the film is just so stupid. Like they just get rid of him for half of the film. Just so they find an excuse just to get rid of him. And I think the film, it kind of did need more Joker, but because you didn't really get to explore that much of his actually personality. What I got from it is basically Jared Leto doing a bad Heath Ledger impression, and the Heath Ledger impression comes out as like the Joker is having an asthma attack every single time he laughs. Like every single time he laughs, it's like, you get those people, these people who do like these donkey braille laughs. It's like it's just ridiculous. That's a fake laugh, and it's just, even if it's a real laugh, you kind of worry for them. It's like, even if it was a Joker, you probably would worry for him, and he's very like the they don't really play up the they sort of do. It's very under key. It's very like um, you can tell it's like the Joker and Harley. They've been like together for ages, so like through flashbacks and stuff. And I was like, um, it's really good. And seriously, the Joker really disappointed me. Because he's really not in it that much, and it's not really worth going in it just for the Joker. The Joker is not really his own entity. It's more to build up Harley's character, and Harley's character is already amazing. It's just you have the Joker underneath him, her character just pushing her up. So it's just yes, more Harley content. So even though the Joker is by far the most by far the most disappointing aspect of this whole film. Which leads me to the music used in this film. Before the film came out, I had to endure a whole month of the 21 Pilots song because my friends they were obsessed with that song. Like every single time I went to see them, they'd be blowing it down. My ears in a speaker. It's like, oh, you got to check out the song, and it's like. The song's good. The song's a good song, and I enjoy the song more I listen to it. And it's like, oh yeah, it's really good. Shame they didn't actually play it. Shame they have to wait until 2 hours until the end of the film, and they played that song. It's like, really, really, are you're not even gonna play it at the actual like any decent part in the song? You're just gonna replace that song with like eminent like opera like song. It's like this weird child opera songs they have. It's like anything dramatic happens, just it's just annoying. And then they have like random songs. Just they have a bit of like at one point I swear they have like some. They have Eminem, Backstreet Boys, like Black Sabbath, quite a lot of AC/DC, The Queen. I think my favourite one, well, the one I could tolerate the most was easily the Queen one because the Queen one sort of fit because it actually let this Queen play, because other times they actually in the song they sort of cut it out and like you can even hear the song, so it'll normally be, oh we have to muffle down the song because there's about to be some important dialogue we might hear, and then we're going to blast up again, so we have to annoy me. It's like, oh, I was getting into that dialogue and then you have to blast me, distract me with like Backstreet Boys. It's like, oh, well you, or it's like Shady, Eminem. It's like Backstreet's back, and it's like, oh, you just ruined that for me. It's like that whole experience. Yeah, again, the music's a bit messed up. Some of the songs aren't really that well placed, and then it just becomes more obvious that they didn't really have enough songs. And then I swear the whole first half an hour, the whole film, they can't go 5 minutes without playing a solid song. It's like I would more like it if you actually played these songs like at a actually yeah, just play the song in fully, just commit to the song, just like let it play. It's like they play the first song, it's like blurring out, it's like dum 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 dum, and it just like not, you can't hear anything. It's just because they know it's just they have to connect it to, like you have to muffle it down for the audio, so it just messes it up. Yeah, overall, Suicide Squad for me was quite disappointing. Most of the story was actually it's very interesting at times, and then other times it's just because like you can tell which parts they actually re-filmed to join it up in this DC universe they're creating with Batman and Superman. And as you can tell, because they have like Flash in this, they have Batman. Apart from I think the Batman, yeah, they have Batman, and he mentioned Superman's death, and you can tell these are like rewritten, refilmed scenes, because like before the film came out, they were like, oh, we're filming some more stuff to make it more funnier. It's like, because apparently it was not as funny as what we were seeing, and I think what they really did was they just added more scenes to connect it to the old, the Batman's versus Superman, like they have funeral scene, and then they have reacting to funeral scenes, like, oh yeah, we really needed that in our Suicide Squad film, not our Batman versus Superman film. You can fix that film some other time, not in this film, please. And again, all the other, just the characters, you have probably there's about 3 characters about that don't fall flat and aren't really that much of like an hindrance and an annoyance in the plot. Because again, as I said, Killer Croc, I was looking forward to him. He ended up doing he literally said like 4 or 5 lines, and the rest was just him just groveling and just him groaning, just like, just like, oh, what are you doing? Just at least say something instead of, like, at this one point you have Harley Quinn is just crying and he's just in the back just awkwardly standing there grunting for no reason. And then I think Deadshot is easily and Diablo is easily the most, as I said, those 3 with Harley is easily the most developed characters in the whole film. And they sort of it's just disappointing. I would watch it again just because of the most of the hype, like just behind the Joker, Harley, just the whole Suicide Squad in general. It's gone with the songs and everything, and it went a bit overboard. Because like, this was easily my most anticipated film of the year, and it let me down. Sadly, it let me down. So I'd easily give this probably 3 perverts looking at Harley Quinn out of 5. And see you again on the Stu Reviews. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment below what films you want to review. See you again on the Stu Reviews. Hi guys. If you're watching this means you haven't subscribed. So it's pretty simple. Even a baby can do it. Just subscribe. Just click the button with your finger. This finger right here. This finger. Just click.